Welcome, welcome. I'm really excited about today because I think this is the first time I've done this in this way outside of Soul Space. Um, Channeling is something that has fascinated me for a long time. And it's been interesting that since I've been live with this and been more public with it, the kind of questions and the I don't know, like the way that people perceive channeling and what it is to be. I think that there's like a whole host of misunderstandings. And for me, really, it's this connection into a higher awareness. For me, it's really allowing for a different part of our brain or our consciousness or our mind to really tune into something that is here for my intention is to be helpful, to be real, to be true, to be kind, and most importantly, to be filled with love. And if anyone here is ever thinking about beginning to start their own channeling practice, that's something that I would really encourage. Make sure love is in the center of this. Love's in the center. Can't really go wrong. And so for me, being able to open up into this higher realms of consciousness, and my gift, which like thank God they gave me English, is to be able to receive that knowledge, that wisdom. I get it as like an energy block, and to speak it in the English language. Now, because of this, I am translating energy. This is literally what I'm doing. So I'm going to encourage you to receive not just with your mind, not just with the words that I speak, so not just with your ears, but to really open into the frequency, the understanding, and to open up your senses as you begin to receive the channel, because this is speaking to you at many different levels. If you've worked with me at all or followed me for a while, you'll know that my view is that we live this soul-centric life, that we're not just a physical human being, that we are different levels, that we have our mind, we have our body, we have our emotions, we have our thoughts, we have our feelings, and we have our energy body. And none of them are really separate, but what we find through life is we tend to work predominantly with one of them or two of them, and it's often like the energetic aspect that gets missed or misunderstood or dismissed maybe. But when we really start bringing it into the conversation, it really deepens the way that we receive everything. It also really deepens the way that we show up, because when we start to work from this energetic perspective, we're working from the root, we're working from the beginning. And so this channeling experience is essentially translating this energy through my body. As it comes through my body, you may feel it comes through yours. You might get feelings, you might get emotion, you might get sensation. I would love to encourage you to bring an openness to that, just to bring an awareness. Notice what happens when certain words get spoken. Notice what happens when certain resonances gets hit in the body. It might bring up vision, so you might get some memory, some feeling, some symbols, some future projections. Just notice them, notice what's happening. And then energetically, for those of you who are more sensitive to that, notice what happens. Maybe you feel a pressure, maybe you start to feel lighter, maybe your like inner landscape begins to change. So I'd love for you over this next hour to just take yourself a moment out of time and to really experience this for what it is, an energetic transmission that's speaking to your mind, your body, and your soul. We up for that? Give me a 3 in the chat if we're up for that while I read your chatty chats. Okay. Andrea, hi, welcome. So Blandine, welcome back. Discernment was massive for me, and it still is, recentering and being here. So if you were here for the last channel, that was something that was really important. If you didn't watch it, it's on my YouTube channel. I recommend that you do give it a watch, because for me, they brought through some quite new information about how we are navigating times at the minute, and giving us some real techniques and clues about how to raise our discernment levels, which is something that in this day and age, with all the kind of different technology, should we say, this is around, it's really important to get there. Max said, so if you're new, if you've just joined us, we're talking about what you got from the channel, what you remembered, what changed for you, what you received. Max said, deepening into trust and checking where my center has been in my solar plexus. This is not to say when I didn't check in, it wasn't. We're already bringing in the animals. Great. Okay, thank you, Iris. Okay, so this is how tonight is going to work. I am, oh, hello, Becky. I am going to open up the channel, so I will be like pretty much out. I do still have an awareness, but my eyes will be closed. I'll be out. And I have my good friend, Jessica Pashke here.
Hi, y'all.
And Jess is going to be holding the space for me. So as I open into channel, she'll just be checking everything's good, and she will be fielding the questions. So tonight, you have the opportunity to ask my channel a question, and Jessica will be your gatekeeper.
I swear I'll be a nice gatekeeper.
Jess, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit? So for those who don't know you.
Sure. So I'm Jessica Paschke. I'm an intuitive coach and tarot practitioner. And the main focus around my work is helping women navigate their WTF era. So in tarot, we call this our world to fool, but it's that in between, the unknown, where we're standing, looking around at our life and what we're doing and thinking, oh my God, WTF. And so that is the primary focus. But it weaves intuition, that weaves spirit, soul with real life and our human experiences. So it should be a really fun evening of channeling, because I've got some questions too on if we have space for them to drop, and we'll see what Melissa's channel has to say. But I know it's always a good evening when we're connecting directly.
We always are. So thank you, Jessica. She will be there in the foreground. I don't want to say the background. I don't want to demote her. So why are we here and why are we doing this? Well, 5 years ago, when I was butter spring chicken, I opened Soul Space, and 5 years ago, I didn't know where we would be. Like, who knew? Do you remember 5 years ago? It was nuts, wasn't it? And over the time, through really my evolution and the evolution of the work that I've been doing, I've really began to understand what is most important for me about how we show up and who we are in the world, and really what is leading us. And I think a lot of that for me came through my psycho-spiritual work, where I began to understand that it wasn't just about the energetics. I began to understand that it wasn't just about who we are as a human being. It wasn't just about our desires. It wasn't just about the success we're creating in the world. And it certainly wasn't just about the tools and the techniques and the philosophies that were available. I began to realize that what I was seeing in the spiritual space more and more was these things were all kind of pitched as separate. And through my work actually in the Akashic Records, I began to see the golden thread that weaves towards this. What I've seen time and time again is the people that seem to have the most fulfilled lives and seem to be most successful are the people that really begin to know that their soul isn't going to lead them wrong. And this goes beyond what we know. This goes beyond what we intellectually understand about energy or channeling or Reiki or intuition, or like all of the amazing things that we can access to. This really comes when we begin to change the lens of who we are. It begins where we begin to change the lens of what it is that's truly guiding us. And for me, this is where soul space is going and leading us to. How do we live a soul-centric life? How do we, when the shit show of life begins to happen, keep coming back into this center of, I know my soul won't lead me wrong. I know my soul won't lead me wrong. I know that I have these different parts of me and that they are all guiding me in one way or another. And my soul is the catchment of all of this. And when I put that in the center, my mind, my body, my emotions, my thoughts, my actions, the way that I understand things, the way that I receive things, the way that I attract things, and the way that I create things all begin to change, because this becomes the operating system in which we're working at. And when we do that, cool stuff starts to happen. When we do that, we can do things like channeling. When we do that, we can lay our hands on and we can pull in this energetic of love. And as we do that, how many Reiki practitioners, energy healers, anyone that's felt anything like that do we have in the room where we've put the hand on and we felt this frequency come through? When we begin to work like this, rather than having to make 100 different decisions, business owners in the room, how many decisions do we have to make on a daily basis? Parents, homeowners. It stops becoming a series of 1,000 decisions. It becomes what I call the choiceless path, because we know what we're guided by and we know what we're guided through. I call all of this spiritual intelligence. This is different than spiritual intellect or spiritual intellectualism, which I was probably at 5 years ago. I wanted to know it all and then talk to you about it. But it's spiritual intelligence is really the lens in which we hold everything. And it's where we develop the skills and the mindset and the orientation to actually live from the soul. It helps us understand, and this might be some of the questions that come up for you, like, how do I trust myself when life gets really noisy? How do I know if it's intuition or if it's fear talking? How can I be more conscious in my relationships? How do I work with money and purpose and my body and my gifts? And how do I know that that's what they are and that's what's drawing me? And how do I actually just stop knowing the stuff about spirituality and going to these things and having these aha moments, but actually begin to live from this? And so tonight, you're going to have a little snippet of the experiences that we do in Soul Space. One of the things that I've been more regularly bringing through is these channeled transmissions and activations. Sometimes they come through as what you saw on Thursday. Sometimes they come through as we are doing tonight as a Q&A, and I'll have one of my Soul Space members come and take Jessica's job and hold the space for us, which is also really cool. It's a really cool thing to do because you begin to feel into that. And then we have an integration session so that we really begin to ask the question of, well, how does this change how I live? Because isn't that the point? Isn't that what we're doing? So I will talk to you a little bit later about Soul Space, because I am opening the doors this month. And I'm going to go into channel. So I've not seen your questions, so I don't know what's coming. They've all just went a bit fast in there. So I'm going to move all of that. Jess, you are in charge of the weight room and all of that stuff. Please,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. Please, everyone, keep yourself on mute. Because like I said, I'm still, I'm going to say about 30% present, so I can hear what's going on, but otherwise I'm going to be in this space. I set up the sacred space before you all came in and came live, and we have the candle here holding that from us. Will be an hour or so. Jess, if I'm still here in 3 hours, please close it down. Um,
Yeah, well, I'll pay attention to the energy. We'll see as
yeah,
it
yeah,
starts to ebb and flow.
an hour or so. And yeah, we'll have a chat when we get back. Okay, enjoy everybody.
If you're just joining us, make sure you drop your questions into the chat, and I'll be referencing the chat to be pulling those out. All right. And don't be shy. There are no bad questions when it comes to this. I might rephrase some of them just for streamlining, but I'll be keeping track of them all. Okay.
Life is good. We remind you that life is good and you are here and you are present. And we invite you today to bring this affirmation into your being and into your body. Say it with us. Life is good. Life is good. And notice how true it feels or untrue it feels. And repeat it one more time. Life is good. Life is good. There is a part of you at your soul level that knows that this is a truth and that this is fundamentally what you are, a vision of greatness, certainly from where we sit and where we view you from. Now, tonight, we are opening to you for your questions and for your understanding, because we know that the nature of the human mind and the human brain is to continue to ask questions. And sometimes you are looking at the places that are not so helpful. So for today, we are opening to you and we look forward to hearing your queries about life and love and the universe.
Thank you. So before we began, Melissa was talking about creation and knowing whether or not you're creating from a creative energy rather than the brain. And that was Andrea's question. How do you know when you're creating from that creative place rather than your logic brain?
This is a beautiful question, for you are all creators. You are creators. You are either creating or something is being created for you. Now, whether or not you are consciously creating really comes from this understanding of whether you are in your right mind, whether you are in your higher perspective, or whether or not you are sitting more in the fear-based energies. So you can look at the creation process as continual. You are always creating something, even if there is a reaction or a response. We will give you an example. If something comes towards you and your body or your mind tells you that you are in danger or that you are under some form of pressure, your natural safety mechanisms will come into play and you will create a response or a reaction to that that will be suitable for the short term, if you like, gain of the individual, because it is important to know that your first point is always survival. There is no point in your spirit growing and becoming its highest self while you are in a human body if your human body is no longer, or if your human body is otherwise unable to create for you. And so it is this field of responsibility of what it is that I really want, what it is that I really wish for, what it is that I really desire. Because there are ways that you can bring things into form through your thoughts and through your actions that will feel very heavy and feel as if you are pushing a boulder up a big hill. This is good information, because this will tell you that you are going against the flow and that you are working with more resistance than is needed for your conscious creation. So you can look at it like this. There are two ways of existing. The first one is from the outside in, that you are constantly in reaction to what is happening outside of you. When you create from this space, you are taking the internal pressure or the external pressure into the internal, and you are pushing against it. This has its uses. However, it is not your highest path. And we will like to say that many of the humans nowadays are defaulting into this because there is a lot of pressure coming from outside space. Now, how do we know when we are creating from our higher consciousness? Well, this is a very different experience. This comes from when you first receive the idea or the inspiration that comes in through a different space. You can imagine the external to the internal is coming from the outside into your whole body. When you are creating from soul, when you are creating from source, when you are in conscious creation, you are bringing through the energy that comes through into your crown. This is coming from a higher space. This is coming from your, you may know as your soul star or as your higher consciousness. And the way that this works is it begins to come through your body and you create a vision of what it is that you are wanting to bring into the world. You begin to see, if you like, what this may look like, what the potentials are. Your mind goes and gets very busy. It gets excited. There is a feeling of aliveness in this space. And you can look at it as an inspiration or a thought bubble or a pocket of information that is being delivered to you by your soul. We hear you ask, well, how do I receive this kind of information? It comes from where you ask your questions from. It comes from, how do I be of service today? It comes from, what would love have me do? It comes from this knowing that you are here for a reason, and that reason is to evolve and is to grow and is to create from your highest perspective, from your highest destiny, that you have things that are available to you that are wanting to be birthed into the world. And so when you receive from these types of question, or we will say you have raised your vibrational field enough that this becomes your default status, that this energy will come in, this idea, this pocket of information, this thought form will come in, and as it moves through your body, you will learn how to see it and how to speak it and how to share it and how to bring your power and your essence to it before you birth it into existence. Perhaps you can feel or know or understand how different that is from coming into reaction. We will say this too. Sometimes conscious creation can come from these lower fields. They can come from when you are in pressure. They can come from, if we use your body, your lower energy centers. We do not mean lower as in worse. We mean lower as in physically in your body, as in slower vibrationary fields, through your roots or through your sacral. Your job then, if you want to make that conscious, is to pull it up. You can use your physical body by clenching your perineum, breathing in and pulling this energy up through the body, through the power center, through the heart, and back up into the crown. This is a way where you can make your external pressures more conscious. We hope this answers your question.
Thank you. Jen had a really great question about how we stay uplifted and excited about our light work when the world seemingly seems to be coming even more separate from spirit.
This is your job. This is your role. It was never really meant to be easy. And actually, we would love to help you understand that this resistance that you are feeling from the outside world and this seeming negativity is actually all part of the plan. You can look at it as this creative force, as this light and dark, as this duality. We would like to add another dimension into this because we know that quite often it is spoken about that there are polarities, that there are two different forces at play. This is true, but those two different forces are surrounded by an additional field. You may know it as love, or you may know it as spirit or as soul. All of those are have a truism to it, but they are the true creative force. So what we say is the love is the creative force of all the work that you are doing. Your job here is to bring in the light, the awareness, the love, the higher frequencies. Why? Into a lower frequency space. For you see, without the seeming negativity, the role that you would be playing would change. And we will tell you that the world may seem like it is becoming, you could say, darker or more chaotic. This is true in many ways. And this chaos is what is allowing for the more coherent energies to take place and take force. And so we invite you to, when you feel disheartened, when you feel that the chaos is pulling you, remind yourself that this is part of the reason why your work is so important. You can, in fact, use that energy of chaotic. We would like to say it can almost feel jagged to help to fuel the source energy that you are bringing to pull through you. What do we mean by this? When you see something that makes you angry, that makes you mad, that makes you scared, that makes you think that humanity has lost its damn mind, then you can remind yourself that you are one of the people who have been we do not want to say chosen, for you chose to take this role that has been put here at this time to help to soothe or smooth these jagged edges. So please use them, remind them of how important this work is. We will say this is not to change them. You will not change them. As you come to them with this light, they may feel as if they are being attacked or judged, and it may be that the sharpness gets sharper towards you. Your job is simply to continue to ask yourself your inner questions of where your inner jaggedness is. Bring the light to this. This will make the biggest change. It is not your job to smooth all of the edges. We will say this, those edges and that chaos that you are seeing is all part of the plan. It is not your job to save the world. It is your job to bring through as much light as you are able to bring through to yourself, to the people that surround you, to your vicinity. That alone will change the energetic makeup of the whole world, of the universe. This is the purpose. Imagine every single person in this room and every single human who receives this message, either through our channel here or through future or even past transmissions, for there are other transmissions like this that are going on around the world. Imagine each of you received the quota of light that was available to you. And you did that every day. And you did that consistently. And every time there was a force that seemed to want to take it down, it only strengthened the light that you received. Imagine how quickly the world will change. And so you start with you and know that you are enough. We hope this answers your question.
There are a few questions that are connected to this. Um, One is Iris asked about something from a previous channel about being connected to the news and if we ignore the news, how do we stay connected? Does that disconnect us? Like how to approach, I think, um, how much you consume, and she's not here to clarify, but how much you consume versus how much you disconnect from it and what that balance is in particular.
Each human will have a different threshold for receiving this negativity. And we will say this is similar to the answer that we just gave. In the last channel, we spoke to the audience about being more open to receiving the bad news. The advice in the past was to not immerse yourself in any of this. And we are noticing that one of the conscious jobs right now is to increase your levels of discernment. This will be a very helpful task and skill to build up on as you move forward. And so this too comes from how much do we immerse yourself. This is not to become a test of tolerance. This is not to become an endurance test of how much bad news can I take in before I explode. This is, I am here and I am present and I am noticing how much I can consume of this before I lose my center. And use this watching of the news or immersion into the chaos that we were speaking about as a centering tool, as a I am centered. We remind you, make sure you are centered. Your power center is in your power center before you begin. Immerse, read, watch, allow, notice what is happening in your body more than what it is they are saying. Notice what happens when the bad news comes in and how easily or not you are pulled, you are decentered, you get made guilty or shameful or mad or glad. And as you notice how easily you are pulled out, you use that as information to pull yourself back. What this will do is it will provide you with this skill that not just for the news, but when you are scrolling, for example, your social media, when you are with people that may or may not be so helpful to you, when you move into buildings that have an energy that is discordant to what is right for you, you will have become very good at noticing when something disarms you. And so this is not a case of we will prescribe you 3 minutes of news every day and that is your lot. And we are not saying go for 24 hours. We are saying use this to notice your tolerance levels, use this to notice your how easily you are pulled in and out of center. Use that as your guide. Notice, we will say this, there will be some of you in this room who will be more predisposed to getting lost in the media. That it can be very, we will use the word tempting. It can be very activating. It can, for some of you, make you feel, give you a sense of righteousness, give you a sense of aliveness whereas you consume some of the darker energies that are available on your web. Notice this tendency, and then go and find the light. Remember, center first, immerse, notice. Your job is not to get lost in it. Your job is to notice how it pulls you out and to pull yourself back. We hope this is clear and that it answers your question.
Thank you. Um, I'm just looking at the questions, trying to group them together. Let's move on to the next topic. There's two questions coming up. One from Bladine, who asks, how do I create financial abundance in my business? She's struggling to sell her artwork as an artist. And then um, Charnay says, in terms of her business, is the promotion strategy I'm thinking go the best to go with. I've done so much inner work, but I feel there's something holding me back. What's stopping me? And I find both of those questions really interesting, and I would love to hear your take on when we hit things that feel like blocks, when we hit things that feel like there are these things we have to overcome or these mountains, or we cannot see how to kind of get ourselves unstuck. What your thought is on how we can loosen up and find more space, get a different perspective, see things in a different way.
There are many ways of navigating reality. And as we spoke at the beginning, that when we were speaking of creation, there are many different ways to create. Now, money is a very interesting topic on Earth because money is holds. We will show you as money as a frequency. And the way that we see money from where we are is that it holds a lot of, we will say, connotations. Actually, money for the vast majority of the Western world contains a lot of fear and a lot of misunderstanding and holds a lot of, we will call it force energy. This is different to power. And now, this is not because money is bad. Money is neutral. From the truth of money, it is simply a form of exchange. However, the we shall say constructs around money have created a resonance in you that can activate your fear and force modes. We first of all say that this is not a truth, but this is a relationship with the way that money is perceived. Why we tell you this is because when your soul expression is then linked to money, it can then be modified by this frequency that is putting you into lower states of consciousness. And so our job is to keep on pulling into what is it that is needed from me today? What is it that wants to be expressed from me today? Because we will tell you this, there are no mistakes. You have been given a set of desires, a set of gifts, a set of expressions that want to come out and come through you. As you move more into your truth of what that really is, what it is that you are really here to do, what it is that you are really here to express, what it is that you are really here to move through. And we will say some of this is, yes, for you to move through these, you may call money blocks, but really they are force blocks or power blocks. So some of them are by design so that you can evolve and you can change and you can build your, you could call resilience or your strengths. So you are this boulder that you are pushing up the mountain is not just difficult, it is also strengthening. It is also helping your calf muscles and your arm muscles so that you can lift more as you progress in life. And so we ask you to meet each block, each resistance, each seemingly discordant activity around money with this sense of curiosity, this sense of what is it teaching me, this sense of where in me do I not believe that I hold this power, where in you it may feel as if you need to force somebody in, or you need to force the message out, or you need to convince or manipulate or change who you are in order to receive. The money is not bad in itself. However, the way that it has been constructed in your time is it sets off these activation features within you. We invite you to become aware of that, to ask the question, what is this activating in me? And to use that as part of your inner work, to use that as part of your congruence into what is it that really wants to come through me. And then notice if you are creating, as we spoke from before, from the outside in, from reaction, from what we think you should be doing, from what is coming from what was rather than what is. And then you move into your higher awareness, you move into your higher state of consciousness, you move into these what we called thought bubbles, and you bring them through your crown, and you ask the vision to show you what is possible for you. You bring it through your body, and you notice where there is resistance. For there will be resistance, because resistance is part of the creation process. We will tell you this: it has been led to believe that if you are in flow and if you are fully aligned, that everything will be easy. This is not true. You did not pick the easy path. Resistance is part of the creation process, just like we said a moment ago. There is the light, there is the dark, and then there is this third force of, we will call it love. We will call it higher frequency. It's a case of bringing all three of those together and then asking yourself, maybe, what would love do? What would my soul do? What is it that is being asked of me at the moment? How can I be of service? What is needed from me? And do not lose your center. Use the practice that we gave you in the last two channels that we have brought through our host, of bringing your center back to your center. This is your power. Notice when you are operating from somebody else, from something else, even when you are operating from money. Money is not bad, but money is activating these wounds within you. And so the answer to what happens when I am not creating the money, or when I am not able to sell my expression and my piece of art, the answer will always be what is inside you. Begin to think of the difference between power and force. Am I standing in my power? Is it central to me? Am I connected to my higher wisdom and my higher self? And is there anything in me that is causing a resistance to the birthing process of what is truly being asked of me? This is what you keep on asking. Be true in your expression. Whether this is through your art, whether this is through your words, whether this is through your programs, whether this is through your message, we invite you, and you can do this now with us if you wish, to speak it out loud, to speak the vision and the intention and the progress of the product out loud. Whatever that is for you. This could be the title, this could be the expression of this could be the thought form that sits behind it. Speak it out loud and notice if it feels true in your body. Notice when you say it, if it feels grounded. Notice when you say it, where in your body this seems to come from. This will give you very good information. Those of you who do not know how to express, you can just say, I run a successful business. As you say that, notice if this is stuck in your throat, in your chest, in your belly, in your root, or anywhere else. This is good information. This will tell you where you are holding that belief and where the resistance is. For those of you who truly believe that the business is of success, will feel this in the whole body. You will feel a resonance of it up and down your whole spine. And so notice. This will be good for when you are creating your marketing pieces or when you are creating your discussion. Say it to yourself first. Notice whether it is stuck in your throat. Notice whether it is in your power center. Notice if it is just in your head. If any of those things are true, do the work to bring yourself back into your whole being. Clench your perineum. Pull the energy up through the earth. Pull the energy down through your higher consciousness and ask, what would love do? This will always give you the answer if you can be present enough to receive it. Does this answer your question?
Yes. If anyone has follow-up questions, please drop them in the chat. And I think this connects into a couple other questions that were really talking about like following intuition and that their intuition is directing them in a different way than, let's say, the majority of other people's guidance. And how do you trust yourself? How do you trust your intuition? How do you know? Am I right to make that connection that once again we're referring back to this whole body feeling?
Your intuition is a complicated story to tell, because your intuition will be attuned to what is most important for you. So as we started this channel, we said that there are two different ways of creating, from the outside in and from the inside out. And for those who are more oriented to the outside in, their intuition will be more interested in survival. Their intuition will be more interested in keeping things the same. Their intuition, or at least what you understand to be your intuition, will be more geared into how do I survive this apparent situation that is around me. The other way is that we are tuned in to our higher consciousness, that we are tuned into the potential that is available to us, that we are no longer looking through the lens of, well, this is what was possible and this is what I know to be available to me. And into a, if you like, clear lens, you could imagine it, that the lens has been taken off and now you see the whole field of potential in front of you. And we invite you to instead to gear or attune your intuition into your higher purpose, into your highest timeline, into your highest reality. And as you do this, you will begin to notice that your intuition holds a different quality. Your intuition may, and it will be different for all of you. Some of you may feel it in your whole body, but that is not a truism for humans. Each one of you will have a slightly different operating system of how you receive it and how you resonate with it. This is based on many things and can be a conversation for another day. However, we can do this with us now. We invite you to think of something that you are dealing with that somebody has said to you. Maybe there was a comment that you didn't like. Maybe those of you who were asking about your business, you can think about the fear that has been coming up around this and notice where you feel it in your body. And wherever you feel it in your body, invite that part of the body to give you some information around that. So this can be for your relationships, for your money, for your business, for your well-being. It does not matter. Think of something that has maybe provoked a fear in you. Find it in your body. If you do not know where it is, you can take a guess and bring your awareness to that and ask for some information about what to do. And just notice, so it does not matter so much what the words or the feeling is. We are inviting you to notice how the information comes through. And now bring your awareness into your center, so into your solar plexus, the place just above your belly button, in between your ribs. If you haven't done so already, just notice that your center is there. You may know it as a fireball or a spark. If it is not there, you can use your spiritual hands, your invisible mechanisms to pull that center back in the center. Do not worry if you have not done this before. Your spiritual body knows exactly how to do this. When you are from here and your center is in your center, we invite you to take a breath, something that is comfortable for you. You can contract your perineum if you feel to, and breathe up and breathe that energy up and out through the crown. Ask for some higher wisdom. Connect in with, if you do so already, your higher self. And let that energy come down through the body, past the center, and imagine it coming back down through the perineum and into the earth. As it comes into the earth, you can pull the energy back up with your breath. You may clench if you wish, and then bring your awareness back into that power center. And now ask the same question. What do I need to do about this? What is the higher plan here? Or what would love do? And allow yourself to receive. Do not worry if you do not get words, if you do not get direct instruction. For today, you are noticing the difference in quality. Maybe you see it, feel it, hear it, know it. Maybe it comes from a different sensation. Notice your energy. Notice what is happening around you. Notice which parts of your body seem alive or activated. Notice any thoughts, colors, feelings, memories, visions. And as you allow that to form, we wonder what happens if you then allow for that energy pocket, if you like, to meet the original fear, to meet the original thought. So wherever that was, where you initially found it, you can imagine that this feeling, sensation, vision, sound is flooding that area. You do not need to do anything right now. Just allow for that alchemical process to happen. You will find you will have a clarity about what to do and how to act, or what to say, or what to not do over the coming minutes, hours, days, or months. We hope this answers your question.
Thank you. I think one of the most one of the times in our lives where we feel the most helpless is when someone we love or someone near us is transitioning or dying. And Angela, right now, her father-in-law is embarking on that transition, and she's wondering how she can help him. And I think this is a great question for all of us, because a lot of times we want to help, we want to do something, we just don't know what would make a difference in that moment.
Your father-in-law is going through this beautiful awakening of love. When you transition, you are going back to the place in which you arrived, which essentially is this energy of pure love. It is not the love as you necessarily know and experience it on earth. It is a frequency that is often confused with spirit or soul. It is one in the same for all intents and purposes. And so the best thing that you can do is be in the presence of them in love, in to allow for the love to flow through you and flow through them. We say we do not wish to imply that there would ever be any harm being done, but we wish to iterate that worry or fear for your departed loved ones or soon to be departed loved ones, is not helpful. That as you wrap them in fear or worry, that you are influencing their energy body. And whilst fear and worry is natural for you and for how you may be going to experience life without them, it is, of course, very sad and can be fearful. Your job and how you help them is to remember that they are indeed moving into a greater form of love. If they are moving into a greater form of love, what is there to be fearful of? If they are moving into a greater form of love, what is there to worry about? For your intention and your projection to them does have a vast influence on their energy body. And the more humans that are experiencing this love for them and with them, the more we could say, the more the tunnel of love that is taking them from this world to the next, the more it is open, the more smooth it is. Because part of the what worries humans when they are transitioning is who they are going to leave behind, is what the impact of their death may be. And of course, they are unsure, many people are, of what is on the other side. And so the best thing that we can do is to experience love. How do we do this? We do this through loving memory. We do this through touch. We do this through smiling. We do this through presence. We do this through remembering. We even do this through grief, for grief is not sadness or anger, although sometimes it can be experienced like this. Grief is a huge form of love. And so do not be afraid to show grief, but please do notice when worry or fear gets projected upon them. And we invite you, after listening to this transmission, to use that as a trigger to remind yourself that the reason that you are worried or that you are in fear for yourself or for them is because you are unsure of how much love is available. As you say this, do this, feel this, know this, you will be automatically opening into a greater form of love. You will be inviting that love in. And so even asking this question of how can I be the most help to them is the greatest form of love that you can give. For you are allowing yourself to be in the discomfort and to be in the sadness and to be in the natural fear or worry that transitions such as this that seem so permanent on earth will bring up for you. As you use this as a reminder of, they are moving into more love. Their body, as it stops becoming the vessel in which they inhabit, as this moves and dissolves, they are also dissolving the barriers to love that is part of the human condition and the human journey. And so invite more love to them, invite for them to experience more love, invite for them to bring the memory and the dreams and the gratitude and to speak of all of that. And if they bring you their fears, meet their fears with love too. This is the greatest form of love. And this is the offering that any of you and each of you can do to your fellow humans, your pets, and indeed even your plant life as they are transitioning back into spirit.
Thank you. I'm just flipping through questions here, just a moment. You started off the call with the statement, life is good. I love that. Um, can we can we just talk a little bit? Can we step into that a little bit more deeply? I think, looking at the questions that are in front of us right now and everyone has their own challenges, their own struggles, and then we also have parts of our lives that are really, really good. But can you tell us a little bit about why we kicked off the call with life is good? Like, can we just step into that a little bit more?
Because life is good.
It
Life
is.
is good. Life is why you are here. Life is aliveness. Life is experience. Life is evolution. Life is growth. Life is good. And yes, there are challenges, and your challenges are here sometimes as a reminder that there are more sides to life, there are more facets, but each of these experiences that lead you down into the life is not good, life is hard, and life is unfair, this is something that comes up quite a lot for humans, are all invitations into knowing the reason why they feel bad is because fundamentally you know that life is good, that life should be good, that life is aliveness, that life is here for expression. You can take your babies as a great example of this. It is actually very difficult to be a baby in many ways. There are many times where, and you have all been babies, of course, where you have been uncomfortable, where you have been hungry, where you have wondered whether anybody will come for you. And yet, if you notice a baby, you will notice that for the majority of the time, they know that life is good, that when they are hungry and that they are then fed, that contentment that comes back to them is goodness. And it is when there is a discordance with the goodness that we shall not say suffering, because the babies do not so much suffer, but the discomfort appears. Why? Because you are moving back into the goodness. You are moving back into the contentness. Now, providing that a baby is well nourished and well looked after and loved in their family, this is what we are speaking about here, you will notice that in the presence of love, they will always come back into that homeostasis of life is good until something is occurring, something that may affect their survival, something that may affect their enjoyment, something that may affect their comfort levels. When those things are activated, they get edgy and they get antsy. And as soon as love is present, they come back. What happens in the human condition, however, is that when things are hard, when things are bad, we can often become so focused on the lens of that problem, of that experience, that it becomes consuming for their whole existence. They forget that this too shall pass. They forget that life is good and you are alive. And so the more you come back into this knowing of this fundamental truth that life is good, the more you will experience that even through the challenges, some of which are very hard, that there is still goodness, that even in the darkest of the darkest nights, there is still a speck of light should you turn towards it. That even when you are experiencing things that feel as if they are world ending for you, that when you move into the knowing that life is good, you will change your receptors into the solution of, rather than fighting against the response of what is coming from outside of you and coming back into this creation of what would love do, you will notice that life is good. In fact, we invite you now to think of any time that you have had where life did not seem good. And we invite you to remember what happened afterwards, after you had moved through this, after you had been rescued, after you found the strength or the resilience. after you had some time to process. If you look at when you get ill, when you have a cough or a cold, or your stomach is hurting, what happens when you're healed from this? Well, you remember, suddenly you say, my body feels good, because of the contrast between where you were and where you are. Keep coming back to life is good, and life will show you that life is good. Life is good in so many ways. We invite you also to notice that life is good even outside of you. When you see somebody in their life force, when you see a child playing, when you see somebody in what you might call flow state, when you witness somebody in a state of empowerment, what do you think? What do you experience? You see, you feel, you acknowledge their life force. And how does that feel? Good. And so life is good. And so we invite you for this. Whatever is happening around you, go search for that life. Go search for that life force and feel that, because even in the darkest days, that life force is still there. And as you search for it and you feel the life force that flows within you, even if on that day it feels only like a tiny drop, that part is good. And so you can use this as a affirmation, as a centering point, as a something that you say first thing in the morning or last thing as you go to bed. Life is good. Do this and notice the difference it makes in your life. Life is good.
One of the questions Tony asked was, what's not been touched upon yet, which this group would benefit in knowing moving forward in love?
Life is good and love is good. And life and love are not separate. Life and love are the great partners. Life and love are the great partners and part of the holy trinity of life and love and you. Life and love and you. These things are not separate. These things are part of a wholeness. And as you bring your focus into those three aspects, I am made of life. I am made of love. I am here. I am here to what? I am here to create. I am here to grow. I am here to evolve. I am here to make connection with the other beings that are around me. I am really here to express my gifts. For there are no mistakes. There is only love and there is only life. And as you tune into that more and more, they will bring you more guidance into who and what it is that you are becoming. We as beings and you as humans, this is not just an earth issue. This is going on in the whole collective, are going through some very interesting and very accelerated times. And this awareness of life force is becoming more and more important. This is the same conversation, in fact, that we were having around discernment. You can know whether something is true by the quality of life force and love force that sits within it. And so we are inviting you to really spend the next while truly getting to know what that means for you. If I said to you now, tune into your life force, tune in to your life force, you can write or tell each other where that is. Where is my life force? What does it feel like? What is the quality? Notice it. Find it now. How does it feel? What does it do? How does it express? Ask yourself this: where is my love force? Where is my love force? It may be the same, it may be different. You may experience it in many ways. Write it down. Tell each other, where is my love force? Get to know it. Tune into us. Tune into these beings. Tune into this transmission. Where is the life force? Notice where you can feel the truth and the resonance of what is coming through. Notice where you can feel and experience our host's energy. Notice where you can feel and experience the love force and where you can experience the life force. Notice how you know that this is true in your being and in your body. This is going to become one of the most important skills that those of you who are aware, and those of you who are what you may call awake, and those of you, yes, who are here to begin to change the frequency in a positive way of the earth, will need more and more. For there are forces at play in the collective that are very tempting and are and look very shiny and can feel like they are making your life easier, and in some ways they are. And we invite you, as we said at the beginning with the creation process, you meet that with love. And you meet that with discernment. Notice where it comes into your body and where it comes into your being. Notice how you respond to it. Notice if this is a reaction or if this is a creation. It is no coincidence that those words are acronyms of the same. But it is the way around, it is the way that you digest this, or the way that you create this, or the way that you receive this, that will make the big difference. But we will say this. The world is moving into some very interesting times. Your work as souls, as light bearers, as conscious ones, as those who have the ability to consciously receive love in your being and project it out, are the ones that are going to be making the greatest change. You may not see this. You may not even see this for sure in your lifetime, but we tell you this. Your job here is very important. There are many at play who seem to be going against this. This is all part of the plan, and you are perfectly placed with your skills and your desires and your life force and your love force to bring the anchoring of the higher frequencies and energies into the space that will make the greatest difference. Do not worry about the chaos that is going on, but use that information to ask, where is the life force? Where is the love force? As you ask those questions, more of it comes through you. Where is the life force? Where is the love force? Find it in you, find it in them. As you see it, as you feel it, as you experience it, it will only accelerate and expand. This is the work that you are here to do. For some of you, this comes in your gifts. For some of you, this comes through your work. For some of you, this comes through your relationships, through your children, through the way that you show up, through the way that you build things, through the way that you write, through the way that you paint, through the way that you read, through even a conversation that you are having over dinner. Nothing is too small. Each and every action creates a ripple. Notice whether this is coming from life force and love force, or whether this is coming through force, fear force. These are very different energies. The more you can pull into life force and love force, the greater the impact that you will be having, the greater the positive impact you will be having. And we know that this is what you wish for and what you want. This is what we want to say to you. Each and every one of you plays a very important role. And your love force and your life force are the fuel of that. Never lose them. Keep seeking them. Keep coming back to them, whatever is happening around you. And we know it is very easy for you to lose, which is why we keep saying it again and again. For it is important and it is there and it will never leave you. And your human plight and your human experience is that the more chaos that is happening around you, the more important this life force and love force becomes. It will never leave you. You simply need to remember that it is there. We thank you. Are there any more questions?
No, thank you.
We would like to leave you with this. You are here for a reason. There are no mistakes. Life is meant for living. Life is meant for growing. Life is meant for you to experience love in whatever is happening around you. This is not ignoring what is there. As we said, the more you can immerse yourself in what is happening in the earth form around you and you can bring love, the more transmutation you will bring to this space. This does not mean that it is your responsibility to do so. Do not lose yourself. Ask yourself those questions. Where is my life force? Where is my love force? Even when things are hard, even when you are given the bad news, the love force will always be there, however small. And your presence, your awareness, and your knowing will change and alchemize that for good. For life is good. Your life is good. Please keep remembering that. We thank you for your openness, for your awareness, and for being here and present. And we remind you, life is good.
So as Mel comes back into the space, what did you notice? What stood out to you? Were there themes, thoughts, ideas? Go ahead and drop them in the comments. Like, what really caught your attention? Um, are you looking at things in a different way? We'd love to hear what's shifted for you. Yeah, life is good. I love that one too, Lily. I love that we started with that. I love that we ended with that. Um, Even in the difficult times, yeah. And this concept of resistance kept coming up over and over again as a theme as well. Um, and how we interpret that resistance, how we work with that resistance, the meaning we give to that resistance. Um, and I felt like that was a really interesting reoccurring theme, Mel.
That was great. That felt so good in my body. It was like every time they said life is good, I was getting this like zingy.
Hmm.
And they said about finding the life force. And as I kind of heard that, said that in my being, I just felt this energy. For me, it was like I suppose my womb space, kind of like my sacral, um
Hmm.
into the base of my spine, and it just kind of like zinged up all the way. It was so good. um so yeah, like I I felt good. And what's interesting about the resistance, so like before the call, I was kind of feeling a bit like het up. I had this weird like het up energy. I was telling Jess before we started, and I think that's why that love that came through felt so alive today, because it was meeting that resistance. And it's part of creation, right? It's part of life force. Like you can't have light without the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nadine says I was struck by the simplicity of the messages. Stacia is like, she said something along the lines of resistance is what's possible. It was really, it was interesting, right? Sometimes when we hit that friction, we hit that agitation, and we hit that resistance, it can feel like we're constricting and going smaller. And it felt like the message was the resistance actually allows us, gives us the ability to stretch, to look outside what is here, outside what we believe is possible, and to go further. And
Yeah.
I love that they really talked about not just what is my life force, but what is my love force? And they were very clear that they were two distinct messages, right? Like if they meant to say it once, they would have said it just the one way, but they said it in that two way. And I thought that was a really interesting couplet of an idea.
I've not heard it before.
Oh, I took notes for you.
Okay.
Where is my life force? Where is my love force? And then as we were talking about blocks, we were talking about all kinds of delicious things, but then it came back again a few times and it was repeated as life force and love force.
Yeah.
Both were included in the same thing. And I thought that was
Mm.
interesting.
I've got goosebumps. So how I experienced that, it was almost like this. It was like it felt to me like I don't know how to explain it. It was like these two forces coming into the body. So there is
Yeah.
life force and there is love force.
And
But until we like we're the anchors of it, like we're the Trinity,
yeah.
we're like it's there and it's there, and wow, that's amazing. And we can tune into it. But actually, I think when we're the receptors of it, um life, love, and you equals the Holy Trinity. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like then you become that walking force,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't matter what you're stepping into. And like it's interesting for me because I've been speaking a lot about life force. And when I'm teaching about intuition, and we speak about this a lot in soul space, is this like following the life force, like follow, like where is the life force here when you're hearing something or receiving something? Can you feel the life force in them? Not just in the person that say, sometimes that you hear some people say things and you're like it's a bit off, right? And there's some disconnect in there. So that's kind of one thing. But it's this, if you feel like the life force isn't gonna guide you wrong, that tells you where there's an aliveness, and life is good, right? It tells you where there's an aliveness, and that aliveness is a really good guide. Sometimes even, oh, I'm going to say it, sometimes even better than intuition, because they said it, right? That intuition it's sometimes leading you into your safety.
Yeah, there was a couple moments where they spoke to intuition when we're picking it that there were two directions it could go, outside in, inside out, right? And depending on what we're perceiving, if we're taking the outside in or if we're going inside out,
Yeah,
it's a very different experience in how we work with our intuition and how we're interpreting and translating our intuitive messages.
yeah,
Outside in tunes into more of that survival.
yeah,
And then they said inside out tunes more into the potential. And they talked about this idea, or they touched on this idea of being able to look outside the box when we move from inside out,
yeah.
because we see beyond what we believe our current possibilities are. And I thought that was really interesting.
Mm.
And that when we look at it with life force and love force, it's a very different experience when we look through that lens with our intuition than sometimes how we use it.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Like, and like the question now becomes, what do we do with this? And that's always the question that we ask, because
Hmm.
I can see there was some eye leaks, this knowing that life is good, that resistance is what's possible. So there was some business questions. And I think like so often, and I hear this, and like, people bring this to me all the time, like, oh, but this is hard. And so therefore, blah, blah, blah. Like, is this not what I should be doing? It's like, well, resistance is part of this. I want to say that with the boulder up the hill, like I really felt like I was working hard with that, like just to give you an impression of like how that felt for me. I was like, ugh. So I think I've done my arm work today.
And your calves.
Yeah. So what do I do with this? Like, what do we now do with this? Because it's very easy to then go back into the 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 survival mode, because it's from a psychological point of view, it's a fundamental need. Like, we need to survive, and our brain is wired for that. But actually, everything that the channel's saying is that there is a higher perspective, and the more we move into this higher perspective, the better life can be. That this life force and this love force, whatever's happening, is there. And if we tune into it, there's a difference. But we forget, how many of us have been doing this work for, you know, a time, and then like something crappy happens, and then you forget, and you're like, oh, or you go into chat and you're like, tell me what to do. And where's the life force? Do you know what, right? Like I work with chat a lot, but when you tune into it, like when you're reading it and you're like, this is the best information ever, but there's something off, is because it's missing the life force, right? But how often do we go back and rely on it? How often do we go back when things are hard and we go and we pick up our phone and we start scrolling through reels, where there's maybe, I mean, we talk about that, we might be exposed to 1,000 different life forces in 30 seconds as we scroll, everyone's different perspective. How often do we start to do something and then we pull back and we're like, oh no, maybe not, things are too hard, I've got too many things to do, the kids are calling me, my business isn't making money, so I better go and do the thing that I'm used to doing, right? Because this is the human condition, which is why you can't leave the human behind. Having a channel like this where you're like, yeah, life is good, and I've got the life force, and I've got the love force, and it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to bring my center back, and then 5 days pass and you've not checked your center, and then you realize as you're making a business decision, your center's sitting in that client that told you that they weren't happy with you, or the person that said no, or like had a really interesting experience. Was it yesterday? Oh my God. So some of you saw, right, why I had this article come up in the Daily Mail. I will say that they took artistic license on that, and the article was not what I proofread. But anyway, it was what it was, right? And it was in the Daily Mail, which is an interesting read. And I went on it, and someone was like, Mel, have you seen the comments? I was like, no. And I went and read the comments, and they were awful. Like, they were so bad. And I was just reading it like I did not get pulled off my center at all. And there were people telling me that like, I looked terrible and all this shit, right? And I was just like, well, this is really interesting, because my center stayed where it was. And for me, that is maybe a confirmation of the practices that I've been doing, of like, well, actually I feel good enough about myself, or my life force is centered enough that I can have like 50 strangers on the internet all saying that I need to eat less, and just be like, okay, right? It didn't diminish me, is what I want to say. And how powerful is that? Bye, Tony. This is what we do when we begin to open up into these levels of awarenesses. It then becomes, what do I now do with this? Because otherwise it's just more spiritual intellectualism. Otherwise it's just, I listen to this chat. Did you just see that? Did anyone just see that move in front of me? You'll have to timestamp it and we'll have a look, because I saw it on the screen. It becomes spiritual intellectualism, and that's just like, it's fun, it's great to talk about at dinner parties, but then when you become more visible and people start not being very nice about you, you then get pulled off, and then you want to go and hide. And that's the work we do in Soul Space. This is really what I'm passionate about. This is not just about how much how much we know and how many insights can we have, and whether I can channel, whether I'm psychic, and whether I'm intuitive. It's really about, am I living my highest purpose? Am I living my highest destiny? Am I really becoming the person that I've always came here to be? Is it that I can stay centered and grounded when my soul is asking me to do something that is hard and bloody inconvenient? Because sometimes it is. Am I centered and grounded enough to do it? I knew when the Daily Mail was speaking to me about this that there was going to be like, I'm like, some of the questions they asked, I'm like, where are you going with this? But I'm willing to be visible. And I know that my visibility can attract the moths. But also I know that my soul mission is such that I need to be visible so I can help a person that I wouldn't have been able to help before. Which becomes more important? And I think that's the difference between operating from survival or operating from psychology, which is really flippant, right? Which goes like this, like, how many emotions do we have during the day, right? Which tells us, anyone else get intrusive thoughts, right? Anyone else have those thought forms that come in and tell you like all like the horrible things about yourself? And how easy it is to throw you when you're living from this center. It's like, it's not that it's always easy, but resistance becomes the creative force. Those comments that came on the Daily Mail, I'm like, I'm going to go live and I'm going to talk about them comments. They become part of the fuel of being more visible. Do you see that? The resistance isn't the problem. It's am I creating from this, like, let's be honest, how much do we get thrown at us? Like all day long, right? Fear, doubt, greed, all of these things, they're like constantly not even drip feeding at us. They're like we're being bombarded with it all. And so actually it's really hard to stay in the center nowadays. And this is what we need to do: mind, body, soul. It's not just about getting the energy practices. It's not just about being able to channel some high frequency or the angels. These are all helpful practices, but really it's about, what is my orientation? And for me, when I bring in the psycho-spiritual aspect of it, it keeps this aligned. And that's the work we're doing in Soul Space. This for me is why we're blending the channeling with the classes and with the coaching, because that's the rhythm of Soul Space. And what we're moving into from this fall is, you will get a live channel every month, either like this, like we did last week, or as an activation, or like a meditative journey, so that we're working on that soul level. And then we have a class about, well, how am I integrating this? Like, what is this about? How do I become more discerning? How do I work with my energy body? What does it mean to be trusting? What does it mean to actually live like this? So we're developing our spiritual intelligence. Someone who holds a strong spiritual intelligence literally sees the world differently. If you saw someone who had an IQ of 140, look at like Einstein, he saw the world very differently from somebody who has an IQ of 80. It's not necessarily that one is better or best, but you see the world differently, right? You experience everything differently. And this is what I mean by spiritual intelligence, this underpinning of who we are, of how we're moving through the world, of what it actually means to live a life led by soul, not just from our IQ, not just from our emotional intelligence, certainly not just from artificial intelligence, which is kind of taking over in many forms. And then the coaching, because it's like, well, now real life is happening, and Melissa, this is what I'm going through right now. And so we have live coaching together. So it's like, well, this is real life. And I think, like, for many people, they're the most transforming things that we do, right? I'm seeing some nods from my Soul Space members. So Soul Space is open. I'm going to drop the link in. And not only is Soul Space open, But so's my inbox. So if you want to come and talk to me about this, really it's for you if you've been doing this work or you're interested in energetics and you really want to ground it. Like really you want that. It's like, well, this is my life now. I'm a mystic in training and I'm a mystic evolving. This is the first time I've opened it this year. Because there's been some changes happening. So I don't know when I will open it again. I'm opening it through August. That's my goal at the moment. As we move into the new curriculum, which is going to be starting in September. So I've got people who have been in here for 5 years. Why? Because we're constantly evolving. And for me, it's this continual growth. And the sooner we come in, the sooner that you can keep on going. And the longer you stay here, the more we can keep progressing. You get me. Like I'm the one holding the coaching calls. We make sure that everyone that comes who wants to go in the coaching calls gets a go. If you want to work with me privately, where it's at the moment a 12-month is £22,000. So this is a great way to get my coaching and my mentorship, and what I invest in. Soul Space at the moment is £111 a month. If you join for the year, it is 1111. So that's for a whole year of mentorships, like just over £1,000. That's a bargain. And I have just opened up 3 spaces for the VIP level. That's 222 a month or 2222 a year, where I'll also be helping you with your business. So really helping bringing this spiritual intelligence into your business. And we have a dedicated call every month where you can that we can deep dive in it. It's a smaller group. That's why I'm only opening 3 spaces. It's a smaller group, so you get more time. And we've got a WhatsApp group where you can bring stuff in between as well. It is a beautiful thing to hold and be part of. Nikki says constant new learning and growing with you. Like I have just invested yesterday in 2 programs. Another one with Robert Holden, another one with Michael Neal, who I worked with last year. So I'm really excited about that. So there's 2 things that I've got coming in. And my Soul Space members will tell you that I'm very generous with my knowledge. Like I've been really blessed to have really generous mentors in the past. And I know that it's because of them that I've been able to grow and progress how I have. And so for me, like one of my baselines and what helped me create Akashic Reiki was this concept of Shuhari. I become the diligent student. I bring it through and understand my role in this. And then it's about transcending my teachers. It's about continual growth. This is not be like me. This is be like you. And I'm going to help guide you through to your higher purpose, to your higher consciousness, to the way that you show up in the world, so that you can be fulfilled, so that you can have better relationships, so that you can be more grounded in what you do, so that you can feel more peaceful, so that you can serve your mission. Because as you serve the mission, I serve my mission, we all serve our missions. For me, it's how it works. So Soul Space is open. And I'm really excited about the direction it's going in. I'm really excited about the people that I've been speaking with that are looking to come in. I have some of my members here. If you wanted to speak to a member, I'm sure that some of them will be happy to have conversations with you. Just reach out to me. I pulled 3 cards on the channel. Should we see what they are? Stacia said, I can't imagine navigating the past few years without Soul Space. Stacia has been through a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's about who we are when we're doing this. I'd love to say join soul space, nothing bad will ever happen to you again. But that would be lying, because resistance is part of progress. But we can reframe it. And you can, as Stacia does, you can come every month with what's going on with you. And you will have a higher perspective, because sometimes, however intuitive we are, we can't see it. We've just had a new member join, and she runs circles like this, and she's like, do you know how nice it is to just have this space held for me, even though I'm holding this space for other people? And I said to her, like, this is why I joined Robert Holden's mastermind for 2 years in a row, because we mentors need to have mentors. That's important. Janie said we pour our heart out. We do. And it gets met by love and met by soul and met by, either my channel, my psycho-spiritual work, my shamanic work, my angelic work, the cards. We always bring the card in. Okay, first card. Honor your feelings. I think the channel spoke about this, right? Archangel Haniel, the moon. Like, this is about reflection. This is understanding that our feelings are a navigation tool, but really learning to regulate and to understand that just because you feel something doesn't mean it's true. But as you soul orientate, your feelings come into that, and then you know whether it's true or not. And so we work a lot with the body, because you can feel something and want to act from it, and then you're like, oh, that was an attachment wound that just got hit, or that was my fear that's just got hit. So we need to learn the difference. Like, we need to be discerning, but honor that. Like, don't bypass it. Like, it all contains great information. The second card, I love that Paul the Venetian came in, experiencing grace. Like, for me, he is all about sharing what's going on with you. This is exactly what the channel was saying. There are no mistakes. You are here for a reason. There is something in you that wants to be shared. And when we really come from that, your soul's not going to lead you wrong. Your soul will never lead you wrong. And what does it say? Share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. Love force. Tune into your love force. What will love have me do? What will love have me say? And then you go and do it. And I'm telling you, it's not always easy. It's often like, what? The amount of times I've gone to my soul, I'm like, you want me to what? And it's like, trust me. And I trust. And then I'm like, okay, that's cool. But it's learning the difference. It's never easy. It's not meant to be easy. Some of it's easy. It's not meant to be, but blimey, is it a good ride, right? It's good fun. But again, it comes from, how am I getting it from that, like, or am I getting it from this truth and this knowing and this centeredness? And then the last card is was Lady Portia. Why I'm really interested that this card came up. If you saw my live that I did earlier, I had the Chamber of the Violet Flame came up. And before I pulled the cards, did you just see that again? Before I pulled the cards, the what's his name? Archangel Zadkiel was on the bottom, who's her counterpart, which is a lot about transmutation, alchemy. She's one of the keepers of the Violet Flame. I just saw the best meme. This too shall pass, but fucking right, it's true. You're like, oh my, when shall it pass? Let it pass. It's building up your muscles. An important lesson is unfolding. I think when we come from this space of, I know that I am where I'm meant to be, and that even these challenges are helping me grow in some way, and you have that constant reminder and belief, and someone holding you in that, that it makes this real difference of coming into victimhood. We've all seen the victims, right? Who are like, no, does life happen to me? And it's tiring. And it's like, yeah, but when you're with someone, you're like, you know what, I'm going through this, and how inspiring it is, and how you feel that life force, and how you feel that love force. And so for all of you tonight, there's an important lesson unfolding. I don't remember everything, but you learned some skills on how to feel the life force I think we said something of, I can't remember what it was, of like how it comes through the body, and noticing whether that feels true or not. If you've had a message come through tonight, speak it out loud and find that. It's now, what do I do with this? When I was just in Scotland, one of the we were I was on a 5-day thing with Robert and Holly and 5 other people, and somebody said something, it was so beautiful, it stayed with me, like, what do I do with all this love? What do I do with all this love force? What do I do with all this life force? Because you've got to do something with it, because otherwise it just kind of disperses or comes up as pent up energy. You've got to do something with it. And that's what we're going to do on Thursday. So this is the work we do in Soul Space. On Thursday, I'm going to be bringing into one of the newer formats that we started working with this year in Soul Space, where we're really bringing the psycho-spiritual aspects into the channeling. So come on Thursday with a notebook and a pen. It's going to be kind of more low key, but you're going to get to really know yourself a bit better and have some really great action steps. So I will email you with the link. If you registered for this, you're also registered to the one on Thursday. So come along. And if you want to speak to me about soul space, then my inbox is open and I'd love to have you. For now, remember, life is good. Hydrate, drink, have a good sleep, those of you who are in the UK, and have a good afternoon, those of you who are over the pond. Jessica, thank you for being here and holding the space.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And I'll see you all on Thursday. Goodbye.